I think we all agree the Crew 1 is the best crew. Remember the project I spoke about? Well, they have made some incredible progress. If you have no idea what we're talking about, the Crew 1 is coming back. This is a huge community project, and before everyone asks, yes, this is a PC project, but there is a chance that consoles could play once again too. So this is a big shout out to Mr. Larian, who provided this footage. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but they provided literally 1 terabyte. Like, I mostly run on SSDs, so I had to find somewhere for me to dump all this footage and uncompress it. Anyway, they provided the footage we all want to see of the Crew Unlimited beta 1.5. They're already on this 1.5 beta of this, and they're actually running into seemingly from the outside less issues than they first expected. I just want to make it clear there is still a hell of a lot of work going into this project, but they were surprised to see a lot of things actually kind of just happen to work. So this is the progress report for beta 1.5. The main takeaways are the campaign is fully playable in co-op. Private PvP is available with your crew. All normally available cars could be bought and made into any of the specs. Cars can be leveled up to max level, so the progression works well. Faction seems to work correctly in a real multiplayer setting. And surprisingly, the police chases and calling all units PvP works with players in your lobby. That is so awesome. In fact, maybe better than the base game. This is something I wanted to point out, actually. I noticed this in the footage that they provided. This is on Mac. Now, I don't know what Mac. I'm hoping Apple Silicon Mac, because that's, the one that I've got. But the fact of the matter is, they've got it running on Mac OS, which is, that's quite surprising. Obviously, this is not going to run as well as native, but this was awesome to me. All the dash and stuff looking all funky. All right, I'm gonna stop showing this. I just thought it was a really cool thing to show off. I'm definitely looking forward to trying it on Mac. So just to explain a little bit about how this system is working, so that I can explain the whole possibility of consoles working, and this is actually confirmed by the team working on this as well. So I will show that. But to explain, what they've created here is a server emulator. They've basically, backwards of looking at what the game is asking for, built a tool that allows you to emulate the servers and so provide the feedback that it wants. For example, the leveling system that the crew uses and what parts you get based on you completing these challenges, and basically you launching into an event. Everything in the crew requires the server to ping back and say, yes, this is what you should do. Now, a lot of the game is just in the game, which is great news. And it would kind of explain as to why some of it just kind of fell into place once a lot of the basics were put into place. Now, I really want to get my hands on this. Let me in the beta, I promise. I won't just leak everything. Maybe. But because of how this works, they're making it work with the standard game, the game as is, which would mean if you can point the DNS or the servers basically to the PlayStation, this is something you could do with Test Drive Unlimited. So type in your DNS and all of a sudden, you actually might be able to carry on. I say carry on. Everyone has lost their save. Unless you did a special export thing, I didn't even manage to do it. You have completely lost your save game. There's no local save in this game. It was all done online, so the server client will have a save, and you can keep that forever. So you will, from this point of starting again, be able to actually, keep the damn parts and the progress and things like that. But everyone's save is completely gone. But you know what? I actually don't mind. I would much rather, have access and be able to play the game than, oh no, my save is gone. I know I spent a long time on it, but I'd rather just play the game again, So this is their official comment on it. What about consoles? Consoles are not the priority at the moment, but things are not as dire as you might think. In the future, it can be possible to change the DNS on your console to connect to a server. We will provide more info when it comes up. So there you go. It is definitely a thing. The thing is, most people watching this video will have played the crew on console, but I'm just laying it out. It's potentially possible. Will you be able to use mods or cheats? Now, this is obviously specifically going to be for the PC version. In offline mode, you are obviously allowed to do absolutely whatever you want. In fact, we might even provide our own cheat functionality. For online mode, you may use cosmetic mods, but nothing more than that. So this client is essentially going to allow us to play with a lot of people or just play on our own, which is something we couldn't even do before. And obviously, one of the things that you might worry about, and I was thinking about this myself, is, okay, This is sounding amazing. This is going to be incredible. Ultimately, though, is there anything Ubisoft can do to stop this happening? And, well, actually, no. I mean, they could try, but number one, they're already in the shit with a lot of people, and I would absolutely kick up a hell of a lot of fuss if they did something like this. But number two, they're actually not using anything from Ubisoft that they don't have permission to use. Obviously, they bought the game, they're fans of the game, and so that was already done. But what they're doing is basically recreating or creating from scratch a way to play the game that we paid for. There is nothing here that they are doing wrong, which is, well, it's fantastic news. They're creating something for us to be able to access a game that a company, because of licensing, decided to make inaccessible. It wasn't even because of licensing. They could have kept the servers up, but basically, in this case, I'm pretty confident that Ubisoft can not do anything, which is great. They could always, you know, maybe make the game for sale again, but that would not be a bad thing. That would be great. We have two options. So overall, it's going incredibly well, and I'm really, really looking forward to playing it. The planned release was for last year, but they delayed it to do some more testing to make sure the game came out, well, as good as it can be, and there's going to be another beta coming soon. If you do want to sign up and help out, and you want the ability to jump in and play the game again before everyone else, before even me maybe, I will link their Discord down below in the description, because projects like this are so incredibly important that we need to support these guys in whatever way possible. And support alone, just sending you guys over there is absolutely. Now, I think this was just filmed for the sake of, you know, just in case this footage. There's a very quiet sounds and some weirdness going on with some of the audio in this, but you can already see over here, there are two players just sat over there waiting at this crate, which is pretty awesome. I don't know if they're they must be real players also in the game. So it would seem like, as they mentioned previously, there's maybe a new way to actually play this event with people in your game that wasn't really the way it worked previously. I think what it did is separate sessioned you in these police chases, but because they didn't want to build in that functionality, or they haven't done that yet, and they just tested it as it is, and the free roam system just kind of is, I think that's why they accidentally found a way to just jump into this session maybe much easier than it was previously. Again, I might be slightly misunderstanding things, but that's what I've kind of assumed from it. So then they go into the marker, the beginning of the event, and all of a sudden, the whole session gets thrown into this police pursuit mode, which if you don't remember this was added as their final update to the game. So when you jump into the game, it was like calling all units. It was pretty cool. Adding cops in a bigger way than it was previously. It's so weird looking at this game though and thinking about like the crew motivate, crew 2 and motivate just went in so largely different directions, and I really do wonder if how many people were on board. I mean, clearly the majority, right? This was the PvP system in the crew 1, in where you could jump through and vote as to what you wanted to play. Privately, it seems to be working fine, but there was a whole thing that's quite a funny story when you think about it. The previous iteration of this, when they first launched the game, had every single district be a separate PvP area, and so no one could find a session. They learned the lesson, and well, they never did that again. Now they all were just one PvP lobby from then on. However, a very closely similar title, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, did the same mistake. But the whole game, every single event, they didn't look at the crew once, even though there's links between the two games, ties between the two games, but they should have known that the other game had the similar problems. However, every event, it's now a mess. It's now completely broken. They didn't learn a lesson from a game that came before them like they should have. 3 games that came before them in the same test drive style experience. Anywho, this is really cool to see. Look at this. Actual people racing around on the circuit together in the crew once again. And honestly, the thing I'm most excited about is, of course, the multiplayer experience. I'm excited to play through the damn story again. I don't know about you, but that's the ultimate crowning jewel for this game for me. I love all of the skills and the exploration and so on, but the story and the atmosphere and the feel of this game is kind of its big part. Ultimately, in a lot of other ways, in terms of handling, in terms of the updates and the support and the PvP, in a way, was improved upon with each version of the game. But something that's always been missing since this game is just the vibe, the aura, the feel of the Crew universe at this point in time. I don't think it was a mistake to change as they did. I think it was a fine choice. And I think for them, it's actually been quite successful overall. But I do think that they're really missing out by not having this theme once again. And maybe they'll go back to it one day. I would really personally love that. But the fact we get to preserve this game makes me so, so happy. Anyway, I'm incredibly excited to jump back in very soon, apparently, back into the Crew 1. And again, I love the whole series, but for the fact that this was taken from us, I think was a deep lesson that Ivory Tower has learned, because now we are getting the offline patches for the other two games, and the community project to bring this back is going to be in full force, meaning we'll have all 3 Crew games forever as they are, for the most part, working. When it's just offline, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, just wanted to give you an update on this. I'm incredibly excited. Let me know if you are too. And if I'll see you playing the damn Crew 1, if you don't have a PC, now is the time to jump in. PC, my friends. Get yourself not even a good PC for the Crew 1. Just get it done. Anyway, I'll link what I said down below in the description, and check out the previous video on this subject right here.